fly-up despite a minor fireworks accident that took him to the hospital for 2 hours the night before. He was playing it back at Jack Morris. In the second, Morris sent one to Mark McGuire, who sent it out of the yard. A two-run shot, his fourth postseason homer, 2-0 A's. Jack, the very next batter, Terry Steinbach, says, "See ya, Jack Morris." He takes a bender and sends it to left, and the A's lead 3-0 quickly. Jack is laughing at what's going on. Defense behind Dave Stewart was sharp. Bordick and Blankenship. Bordick in there instead of Weiss. And boy, he turned two nice double plays. Tony La Russa pulling all the right strings like he did all year. Bottom five, Stu had given up just 2 hits. Make it 3 as Pat Borders sends one to left field, and the ballpark would not hold it. It was a 3-1 Oakland lead at that point. Bottom of the next inning, the 6th inning, and the ball flying out with the dome roof closed. Dave Winfield, age 41, becomes the oldest man in playoff history to hit a homer, and at 10:13, it was time for a one-run game, 3-2. Winfield would later double in the 8th inning, and then La Russa comes on and gets Stu and brings in Jeff Russell instead of Dennis Eckersley, who was ready in the pen, facing John Olerud with Winfield on second, right up the middle past the bare hand of Russell. Winfield scores, and it's a tie game at 3. Toronto rallies from 3 down to even it, heading to the 9th. But Tony had some faith. Harold Baines off of Jack Morris, who stayed in the game. The second pitch of the 9th inning was a slider and sent Toronto for a slide. Baines has 3 hits, including that big homer off of Morris. And then Eck on after he gets 2 outs, then gives up a hit. He gets Devon White on the pop-up to Bordick, and Oakland draws first blood in the series. Stu got a no decision, but he's 5-0 in the LCS. Morris, his second loss in LCS play. The A's win 4-3, their 7th consecutive LCS win. This was a 5-home-run game. That's the 9th time that's happened in the playoffs. 3 of those homers given up by Jack Morris.
It was right up here. It said, "Hit me," when I released it. It's like it glowed in the dark, and it was a beach ball.
A win's a win. I mean, it's nice, but we can't get too carried away with it because we got another tough pitcher tomorrow with David Cohn. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's like I said earlier, yay, we won, but we haven't won yet.
The long ball figured in this game. It was good pitching. That's all. It was good pitching today. They just got 1 more run than us. 1 run late in the game, and just like if we're up 1 run late in the game, it's probably a good night to them, too.
They get another shot at game 2, and maybe they'll see Eck again. They hope not. Dennis Eckersley has plenty of lofty save numbers, so these are no surprise. No one has saved more LCS games. Dennis now has 10 in 12 opportunities. He did yield a hit to Ed Sprague, but shut down the Jays in the 9th.
Couldn't do it in game 1, but Cohn came out firing in game 2. Here's the leadoff batter, and against Ricky Henderson, the curveball, and then Ricky misses the fastball, and then a breaking pitch on the outside corner, and Ricky was out of there. That's how tough Cohn was all night. No score, 5th inning. A's have runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 out. It's a double steal, and the pitch gets away. Willie Wilson is coming all the way home as the ball rolls into the dugout. But Larry Young ruled that because the ball went into the dugout before Wilson circled 3rd, he could not score. That's Rule 705H in the baseball rule book, which allows just 1 base once the ball is ruled dead, and Pat Borders wisely did not touch it as it rolled into the dugout. So the A's do not score as Weiss strikes out, and then Henderson got nothing, and the Jays' joint was jumping as Cohn got out of trouble, still scoreless. Bottom of the 5th, runner at 1st, Kelly Gruber, facing Mike Moore, and it's up there, it's out there, and it's a 2-run homer there, his first in the postseason. This is 12th game starting in the playoffs for the Jays, and Gruber knew it was gone. He also had a double and later scored to make it 3-0. Top of the 9th, 3-1. Blue Jays hanging on with a runner at 1st. 1 out. Mark McGuire hits one up there, out there, but this ball is just foul. Would have tied the game. Cohn watching Henke get it done. McGuire would fly out to make it 2 down, and Willie Wilson rounds out to end it. The Jays hang on 3-1. Cohn and Henke finish it off. Cohn pitching well enough to get the Jays their first playoff victory in quite some time. The Jays snap Oakland's 7-game winning streak in the ALCS. The A's did steal 6 bases, tying an AL playoff record that they set against Toronto back in 1989. So the series even heading back to Oakland after Cohn handcuffs the A's.
I saw some funny swings that you don't normally see from our guys. So, you know, maybe it's his delivery or the type of break that he has on the ball. So it's up to them to say that next time they'll have a better chance. I mean, obviously, He's tough.
They've seen me now, and, well, I've seen them too. I still consider it a wash. You know, going into tonight, I didn't feel I had an advantage. And going into the next game, I'm still going to feel it's pretty even.
We learned a lot tonight, and we learned a lot about David Cone. Now he's got to face us again, so, you know, if we see him again, then it might be a different story.
And the Jays finally get a playoff win out of one of the pitchers they acquired for that very reason. Doyle, Alexander, Mike Flanagan, Tom Candiotti, and Morris all came up empty.
It is the plague year for the supposed big money pitchers of the offseason. Doug Drabeck going from the 7th best ERA ever in postseason, $1.15 to over twice that this year. And in a marathon Sunday afternoon in Oakland, both Jack Morris and Dennis Eckersley go from bearing the torch to being torched. From the minute they signed him, this was the Toronto scenario for Jack, pitching the big postseason game. Not giving up the big postseason hit again. Harold Baines, again, homer game 1, RBI double in the 3rd of game 4. The A's posted a 5 spot in that inning, and Bobby Welch led 5-1, and he smoked John Olerud, and to borrow the phrase, freeze it. He'd lead the game up 6-1 with a man at second and none out in the 8th. A lock, right? But in a faithful 8th inning, the Jays greeted Eck with a peck of RBI singles. Olerud at 6-3. Then Maldonado, who's come alive. Nothing on the pitches. It's 6-4. And from Eckersley, a little premature jocularity when he strikes out Eddie Sprague, the son of a former Oakland reliever, to escape, still up 6-4, because in the top of the 9th, White at 3rd, Roberto Alomar. This is not the National Football League, so he's not signaling touchdown. It is a game-tying 2-run homer, shades of Kirk Gibson. Eck, as in sore neck from watching crucial homers. Eckersley torched. Jim Corsi brought on to replace him. The numbers say it all. The A's still had a chance to win the game and tie the series in the 9th when McGuire, of all people, succeeded in bunting Eric Fox over to 3rd. But then with the infield in, Terry Steinbach with the perfect ground ball for a play at the plate. This they now do. Extra innings. Not that the A's ever quit. Mike Bordick flat out on the pop foul. Notice this is a healthcare advertisement he is smacking into. Hope he has the insurance. The longest game in ALCS history ends almost anticlimactically in the 11th. Derek Bell walks, singles to 3rd, and then with 1 out, the Pat Borders sac fly scores him. The Jays are just 1 win away from their first World Series. Of course, the last time the Jays did lead a championship series, they led it 3-1, 85 against KC. Number of players left over from that team, 4. Mullenix, Steve, Henke, and Key. About the Eck, you noticed a little difference in him this weekend from, say, the regular season? You weren't the only one.
Well, I think so. He wasn't overpowering like he was before early in the season. He wasn't throwing a big slider. His ball wasn't sinking that much like before. So he wasn't the same Eckersley that I've seen.
Last couple innings, I think this should dispel any images that this team would roll over, quit, or anything like that. We know it's still going to be tough, but this was a wonderful game today.
How, of all the games you've been involved in your life, which is a lot, this one sucks the most?
Thank you, Bob. Battle of the bullpens. Henke has been superb.
Live Monday in Oakland. David Cone, Kansas City native, on the mound. Runner on. Ruben Sierra says see ya. A shot to right field, a 2-run homer. Sierra's coming through in crunch time, hitting .368 in this series. It was 2-0 Oakland. Bottom of the 3rd, that's the score. Ricky Henderson at 1st. Now, David Cone's one of the easiest pitchers to run on. They almost got him the first time. Cone tries to keep Ricky close and throws it away the second time. Past John Olerud with all the room at the Coliseum. Ricky gets quickly to 3rd. Next batter, Jerry Brown. Starting at 3rd for Carney Lansford, who was dinged up, and Brown delivered. An RBI single scores Ricky. It's 3-0 A's. To the top of the 5th, the Jays are threatening. It's 3-1. The tying run is Robbie Alomar at the plate. What a great play by Mike Bordick. He's 1 of 17 at the plate, but doing the job at short, and he gets Alomar there. Still 3-1. Runner on, and look at Ricky bunting him over and bunting for a rare bunt single. Runners at the corners with the A's up 3-1, bottom 5. Brown again, hit and run to perfection. Base hit to right. Blankenship scores to make it 4-1. Joe Carter's throw gets away from Kelly Gruber. Ricky scores all the way from first. 5-1 Oakland. Top of the 7th, Jays down 6-2, but threatening. Would it be shades of Sunday when Roberto Alomar had the big hit? The 2-run homer off of Eckersley in the 9th to tie the game that Toronto would eventually win, a dramatic win. Would he get the big hit again on Monday afternoon? Not this time. A line drive, double play. Blankenship starts it, and Stu finishes it. The guy who started Game 1 started Game 5 and finished it. Gets Pat Borders to close out the complete game effort, and Oakland gets out of there with a win. 6-2 the final. Sierra had 2 hits and 3 RBI. Jerry Brown, 4 for 4. Now, Devon White had 3 hits. Dave Winfield had his 2nd homer of the series in a losing effort. Oakland scores 17 runs in 3 home games, but gets 1 win, but the one they had to. For the 2nd straight day, the Toronto starting pitcher didn't have it.
And generally speaking, you have to feel good about coming in here and winning 2 out of 3 overall. But naturally, I'm disappointed in today. We had a chance to end it right here, and you know, I had a chance to really give our team a lift. But now we've got to go back to Toronto, and we've got a tough job to do.
I definitely don't appreciate always being an underdog coming into games when I've repeatedly proven that, you know, I'm capable of getting the job done. For a change, I would like for somebody else to have to prove something instead of me always being the one that has to prove that I'm worthy of being what I am, which is a big game pitcher. The bottom line is, I pitched today because there was a need for us to play on Wednesday, and the only way we're going to get that done is to win today.
Any LCS game anywhere, who are you going to call? You're going to call Stu. Dave Stewart pitching the first complete game in the AL playoffs since Bruce Hurst in 1986. This is the Mr. October of the arms race, unbeaten in his LCS starts. That's 8 of them. As you see, hasn't allowed more than 3 runs in any of the starts. And the starter for both Oakland wins in this series, Stu, was working on 4 days rest. Cone was working on 3 days rest. 5 playoff pitchers have done it, and only John Smoltz has won his short rest start. During the entire regular season, all of these pitchers went on 3 days rest, a grand total of 4 times. Wonder why they're struggling? They're not used to it. Cone struggled on Monday. Dave Stewart was strong with the extra day's rest. Game 6, Mike Moore took the hill for Oakland. Bottom of the first, Devon White, who was okay after a car accident on the travel day Tuesday. He lifts a lazy fly to left. Ricky Henderson has to hustle. He gets there, keeps his eye on the ball, but just plain drops it. Devo was hustling. He's on second, and that would set the tone for the rest of the day. 2 hitters later, Joe Carter, 1 RBI in the ALCS. See you later. A shot to center field that Willie Wilson will go back, but not get. And the Jays had a 2-0 lead after 1 in Sky Dome, and they were ready. Bottom of the third, after intentionally walking Dave Winfield, John Olerud, the lefty, comes up and puts one just inside the right field line. Robbie Alomar scores 3-0. Next hitter, Candy Maldonado. The shot to center field, and the ballpark would not hold. A 3-run blast that put the Jays up, and they were cruising from there. A big inning with the intentional walk right in the beginning of it. Juan Guzman pitched very well with the big lead. 2 runners on in the third. He gets Ricky lunging at the splitter. In the 5th, 2 on again, and Guzman freezes Ricky. He was in trouble in the 6th, got out of that. He struck out 8 on the day, and the fans were counting the Ks and counting the outs to the World Series. 2 outs in the 9th. The bench is excited. Tom Henke facing Ruben Sierra, the lazy fly to left. Candy Maldonado squeezes, and the celebration begins. 16 years after they opened it up on a snowy day in Exhibition Stadium, they beat the Oakland A's. Cito Gaston, the AL pennant, has a maple leaf on it. As the Blue Jays will make their first appearance in the World Series, the first time ever a Canadian team will go to the series. Juan Guzman doing it on 3 days rest in the 9-2 win. The Jays scored first, and like every other game in this series, the team that scored first won, and the Sky Dome celebration rolled on.
I'm so happy I'm crying, so it's been great. These guys have been focused all year, and as I said when we won the American League East, I wish I'd have had a camera on these guys over in Detroit opening day. They haven't changed. It's been the same thing all the time.
We always had the confidence we were going to win it. You're not going to boast. You're not going to talk stuff. You're not going to, you know, give them something to pin up in their locker room. We just wanted to go out there professionally and go after them every day.
For all those people out there, especially the people in Toronto, the newspapers who said Oakland winning 7 games, it's going to be nice to see them eat their words.
For me, it's like time to reflect on the past 5 years. You know, really 4 out of the last 5 years playing with a great, great team, and now that it sort of disintegrates. And I don't know how badly it's going to go, but you know, I was proud to be a part of it.
There's no more choking, no more monkeys in the bag now. I feel real happy about it. Everybody say that we choked in the end, but we didn't choke in the end, and now we have a World Series.
By the way, Steve Avery is the youngest all-time LCS MVP. Robbie Alomar, MVP in the ALCS, the second baseman from Puerto Rico. Great LCS, 3 of 5 in Game 6. An AL record tying 11 hits in this series. A hit in all 11 ALCS games that he's played in.
a series to remember for the Alamo.